Let's go. Welcome to Blonde After Dark. Woo! All right. Everyone's feeling good. Welcome, Carolina. Crystal, my guest for today. We're going to be talking about something very exciting. First date do's and don'ts. A lot of people back into the dating world, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a scary, scary place. And so we're going to get in there. And I love this because Carolina is from Colombia. So, girlfriend, what's the big difference between Colombian men and American men? Because you've had both.
The passion.
Oh, I love that.
The American men are more romantic, more creative.
Like, really? I would not guess that at all. I would not guess
in a million years.
Is. Really? Like, the Colombian guys, they are hot,
yes.
Are we talking like physically? Or are you talking about like physically sexy? Okay.
Yeah. Everything. Like they don't have like a big imagination. I feel like they are more plain. They feel like I am
that
the
is
macho.
So surprising.
Okay.
And I just want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like I feel like the American guys, they are more creative and everything. Like wise family and privacy life and everything. Like,
I would not
huge different. Like huge. It's another culture.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. Okay, I love to hear that. One for the American guys. Okay, I love it. All right, so let's talk about dating. Crystal recently got back into dating, and so we're going to talk about like some do's and don'ts. I'll offer up just like a safety do. Always, I feel like, well, I guess it would be a don't. Don't meet or give your home address away. Don't have, because, you know, guys, and they might try, maybe they're trying to be chivalrous, but they'll be like, hey, can I pick you up? Can I send you an Uber? I would not give out your home address, obviously, right up front, obviously, for safety.
And again, like, for all the guys, too, this is not like an offensive thing, like we don't trust you, because some guys will get offended. Like, don't you think I'm a nice guy? It's not that. It's like we're just protecting ourselves against all of the other experiences that we've had, right? So like you should think that as a compliment. Hey, I want to get to know you, so I'm actually going to wait and see if you are a nice guy.
Yeah.
So let me like Uber myself, drive myself, meet you there. It's like a protective thing more for us. Like,
and I put my car there
it
too.
Easy.
Yeah, exactly. In case you need to like exit the situation.
I met my husband on Tinder.
On Tinder?
Really?
Yes. Okay, that is terrifying to me. How
it was like 8 years ago.
That's okay though. Okay, so like, take us through the Tinder journey.
So
I
he
love
was asking me, "Do you want to go on a date?" I said, I don't want to go on a date. I'm from Colombia, and I watching a lot of like FBA cases in my country about the crazy American guys.
Yeah, yes.
All the true crime.
All the true crime.
How about if you are this type of guy? They have like cutting in a pieces the ones in the basement. Don't thank you. No. So it was a process.
That's your first thought.
Yeah.
He was like asking me many times, but he never pushed me. He said, "Okay, everything is gonna be in your time." And
Which is very sweet.
Okay. He was asking me, like, he was telling me every day, if you feel like I'm talking too much, just let me know. And I know, call you and say, chill. I'm okay. Just enjoy it. Slowly. I don't want to go fast. So actually, our first date, he was asking me to go in a restaurant.
Okay.
And I was in a hotel in Kentucky, and I say, no, I don't feel comfortable. How about if you bring some food in this hotel? I was working in a project. It was like 80 Latins in my group. Okay. And I say, how about if you bring some food here in case there's something happen? I just have a lot of people around me.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
smart.
my comfort zone.
Yes.
And he say, whatever you want. Like take your time. I don't want to put too much pressure on you. And I was like, so my first day he came and he brings some Mexican food. And when I saw him, he's 6.3 feet tall.
6.3. I love it.
Whoa.
Well, and like
that is a sexy Viking.
Yeah, a sexy. She calls him a sexy
man.
Viking.
I call my husband my sexy Viking.
See, I love. See, this is
so
what I'll strike for.
sweet.
Yeah. How long does it go from like you started a dating app? Because I've never been on a dating app. My likeness has been on a dating app, but it actually wasn't me. So if there's other McKinsey messaging you, it's not me. But if it goes from like dating app to then you go to what? To like exchanging like then you start texting each other and then you go to the next step.
Scary.
Yeah.
But I think that's a do though. Like you were saying, is like he listened to you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a do. If you're saying, hey, I'm not comfortable, like he worked really hard to make you feel comfortable. So I think for guys, like that's definitely a do, is like listen to what she's saying and like make her feel comfortable.
He was patient. Like he say, anything is going to be at your time. I don't want to put too much pressure on you. And that was nice. So we dating, like our first day was pretty much 1 month after.
Okay.
Yes.
That's nice.
And that was so sweet because after my first day, the next day I received a big ornament flowers on my suite in the hotel.
Okay, so after your first date, he followed it up with a huge bouquet of flowers.
He wrote in Spanish, that was nice to meet you. Like in Spanish. That was so cute.
See?
I said,
that's very cute.
He got me.
See? I love this. I love this so much.
He was creative.
Yes. Okay. So that's a definite do. So another don't, I would say, would be don't accept. I don't want to say like cheap dates, but like you said, not creative or like, I don't know. I have a girlfriend and she's like, he asked me to go for a walk or like a jog.
He asked me to go to McDonald's. No, don't do that.
Well, it just seems like that's so low effort.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
There
it just seems like it's cheap. Well, first of all, it costs them not. I mean, it's not about money, but like a guy's like,
do you
hey,
have to
go
put
for
any?
a jog.
Do you have to put any thought into it, right? So if you like, I guess if like someone was like, hey, like I heard you say that you love to go hiking, so I planned for us to go drive like 30 minutes to this place to go hiking because I heard that they had like a beautiful waterfall. Like that is thoughtful.
Yeah.
Something like that versus being like, would you like to go like walk on the trail that's back here?
Or non-committal. I don't know. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I wouldn't accept any, I'm just not into like coffee dates or lunch. I mean, let's have like a proper, it depends who you're looking for. Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't I don't have any time to waste. Like I'm huge on like my time. I have no time. So if I make time for someone, it's got to be
no time wasters.
It's got to be a 10 out of 10. I also have learned like don't accept anyone you're not attracted to because there's no point. Like, maybe he'll grow on me and like, no.
Well, and that's like they have tons of shows about that. That's so
harsh.
Right?
I know to say, but it's like you're just wasting your time and theirs, right?
Like
yes, no, I don't want to keep going with somebody that is not like attractive with me. I say no, next.
Exactly.
No,
and then it's 10 times harder to like back off of it. So if you already know you're not attracted to them or there's no interest, like Mackenzie said, it's like if you engage in that initial, then if they really like you, now you're gonna have to fight or work even harder to back yourself out of it rather than just being like, hey, like you seem nice, but no thank you.
Exactly. And so here, another word of advice, don't give ghosters another shot. I have so many girlfriends that are so guilty of this. Like a guy ghosted them. This is what happens. And I'm not a man, and I wish we did have a man like on this, like here right now. Well, we have some men here that can shout out. So I don't understand. This is why men do this. So they will ghost a woman, and then they say they feel bad about it. They see her out, she's looking good, or she posts a pic, she's looking hot, and then they're like, "Oh, I feel so bad." The girl gives, for some reason, the guy a shot, and then they do whatever, and then the same thing happens. I'm gonna say like 2 weeks later.
I think we all know what that means, though.
Yeah, he just wants to hit it and quit it.
Well, because like the ghosting is because some other female has his attention.
Yes.
Which, okay, that's fine. But then are you going to let yourself be secondary to whatever that was? Because obviously,
no,
like,
don't ever do that. Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like we always say like, what do we say? That past patterns are predictors of the future. And I feel like people can change, but you really have to listen to that. So let's talk about more do's and don'ts on your first date. I think definitely tell your friends where you're going and definitely have
share your location
emergency
with your
plan.
Girlfriends. Like I always share my location with my girlfriends. I'm like, hey, I'm going out. Here's the time, and like, honestly, if it's a very first date, I will give them like their first and last name so that they know where I'm going, like average time. And I'll be like, hey, here's my location. Like check in.
You can share your location with your ex.
Yeah.
With your ex.
You can do that.
You can. I would probably not recommend that one. Unless you're trying to get rid of that person and you want your ex to come save you.
That's true.
Yeah, you never know.
And this one might hit close to home, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I feel like if someone is still living with someone, you probably shouldn't go on other dates.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah, because even if they have baby mama, baby daddy, whatever at home, their ex is still living with them because of rent situations. I feel like, here's the thing, and I'm just going to lay this out for people. They are never totally, even if they're sleeping in different rooms, even if someone's in the basement, someone's upstairs, someone's in the whatever, they're never totally apart until they don't cohabitate and live together, because like you don't know if they're sleeping together. They say, well, we haven't slept together in 6 months. You don't know that. They are not detached from that person, and so I would not even mess with it if you don't want something messy.
Yeah. And I think that most people don't want the drama, right? Which is what's so interesting is like, because when you talk to most people, they're like, I don't want a drama relationship. But then, like you said, if you let like a ghoster back in, or somebody that clearly is like not responsive, like in messaging, like things like that, or waits till the last minute to invite you out, and it always is like causing you anxiety. It's like, why do you want to feed into that? Why do you want to be that person?
No. Exactly. I think that's definitely obviously a don't. So what else do you guys have as far as like dates go? What have you found? I feel like you should always wear something comfortable for guys and girls, because like girls obviously you want to like a hot and sexy, but you don't want to be like not be able to breathe, or like want to wear something.
I think like for guys there is still, I think a lot of people are always like, oh, well, like the guy doesn't have to do everything now, which is true. But I think that as women, and I think like what you guys think, it's attractive if a guy plans a date.
Yes, he's a leader.
Yes, and I think some women are like, oh, he doesn't have to, I'll make plans. But even if it's just the initial like, hey, like let's go here, here's the time, tell me when to show up and I'll be there, right? Like I love that. Like don't make me think too hard about where we're going. Just let me know how I need to dress, where we're going to go, and I'll show up.
Exactly. See, I love that.
I think be a planner. That's a do. Be a planner.
And I feel like, and this is very controversial these days, but I feel like, what do you guys think about when? I mean, I'm old school. I think the man should pay 1,000%. Like especially if he's asking you on the date. There's no way that I wouldn't offer, because I'm not interested in that.
No, I 100% agree with you though. But I think that's the difference, where if you are interested in a female and you're like, I'm inviting you out on a date, then I think the expectation is that I will pay. Yeah. Right. So I think that when people are like, oh, why would she think that? It's like, well, why don't you think that?
Exactly. Good point.
And I like a man, like I had a friend that like she didn't even go on the date because he didn't open the car door, and he's like, that's old school, like that doesn't need, but that's like, it just depends, I guess, what you're looking for. But like she's like, I'm not, if you're not going to open the door, he's like, well, get in. And she's like, no. And he was very good looking, very well to do, and then she just didn't, and he was like, because he just had never had a woman like set that standard. So I think that's really important.
Good for her though. Yeah. I mean, like, hey, I'm not going to settle for anything less, because how many times have we all done it, right? We're like, oh, that's kind of like not what I'm looking for, but maybe it will get better. Maybe it'll be different. Well, of course it's not. Like the first couple dates are going to be like the best. It's probably going to be at that.
That's true. Best. If they're not pulling out all the stops up front, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. Okay, let's talk about oh, yes. Okay, so we talked about this. What do you guys think about the conversation? So you're having fun, you're getting to know each other. Obviously, we assume that like prior, leading up to this date.
Don't do an interview.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about the conversation. Like, do you talk about, you don't want to talk about the past in depth, but like, how far do you go? Like, what do you talk about? Do you talk about like how long have you been in the relationship, or when did your last one end, or do you not even touch on that, or what do you talk about?
I would say that's no for a first date.
Okay.
Because at that point, I don't even know if I want to get to the end of dinner with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know. Like, I think that most of us too, if we are being like authentic during our date with someone, you can tell by the middle of the date why they're either not with somebody, they're single, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or if you have a great time, then maybe they do have like a past that just like they weren't a good fit, but like that's not the time to bring it up.
Yes, I think so. Your conversation have to be focused more and know each other. If you have something in common, if you match, it's more like that instead they investigate about his relationship or why you broke up with this person or not. Like, no.
Should you say kind of, and obviously you want to know this prior, but like, what are you looking for? Like, say you're looking for a husband. Like, do you state that up front, or do you hold that back?
I don't think you say that in the beginning, only because like,
does this scare you off? No, the guys are saying it.
Like, I mean, and like I said,
you just want to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that I would say that, because
I wouldn't drop the husband bomb. But if you're looking for like, I'm looking for like a,
I think you could say like,
they're saying they would run. They're
saying
don't bring that up.
Well, marriage long term's one thing, but
but I think that like,
I think it depends what you are looking for.
Well, but also like a lot of guys too. Like, I think that they don't know.
That's
in the beginning. So I think when you like put that heavy pressure, I think it's probably gonna make anyone panic. But even if a guy was like, so I'm looking for a wife, I would, on the first date, I'd probably be like, okay.
Me too.
Like, can I be?
Where are we going? Best friend. How do you know that on the first date?
Correct.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be your partner and best friend. So
something curious about my husband, when he was in the Tinder profile, he was like a divorced with 3 kids, looking for a serious relationship and something like that. And we say like, okay, this is a nice prospect.
Yeah. Yes. So I like that. What people don't know what to put.
Yes.
You know?
Honesty is always better, of course, right?
Depends what do you want.
If that was his thing. But I think sometimes it can turn into that, right? So like if you say that in the beginning, like, hey, like I'm looking for a husband, but they're not, and they cut it off, who knows if someday that could have changed for either one of you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But
so I guess think like the heaviness of it seems like a lot for some people.
I know. It's the terminology. It's like, how do you, but if like, okay, so say someone's like, I don't believe in marriage, or I
just want to have fun.
Yeah, I mean,
that's also, I think, one of those like core things though, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, well, maybe someday if we agreed, I do believe in marriage, just I'm not sure, that's fair. But like you said, if someone's like, I never want to be married, well, that's like a hard like the core value thing, they're never going to do it.
We always say, Chris and I always say, someone's never been married and they're balding and they're like, I'm not looking for anything serious. You're just kind of like, what? Like, when's the time, buddy? Like, no offense, but like, if not now, when? Or you just never want to be, you want to, be.
But I think that like when you get to a point, and it's not with everybody, but with some people that are in their like late 40s, 50s, 60s and have never been married, there's usually some sort of reason why. Right? It's not saying it's all in one person.
The guys are laughing and nodding, but it is true. Women think that. They're like, you're either like well, they do.
And
women think that.
It's not a bad thing because like sometimes your picker is off. That goes for guys too, right? Like guys can just have bad pickers.
And they always say, I'm just really picky. Got that. But
you pick people that are always the same? Do you pick people that are like, I mean, like Kenzie and I have laughed about this before too, when we're like, our picker is off. Like we need a different picker.
Yeah, seriously. Because do you find yourself, maybe you should just go against type if you're always choosing the wrong, you're attracted to one type that just doesn't, I feel like it's
isn't good for you.
It's the cool, it's the super combination, the unicorn combination. Like you want something like a bad boy with a good heart. Like I love someone exciting and that's like a little like, I need someone that can like handle me because I'm allowed to handle, but I also don't want an asshole who's like an asshole. I want someone that's like has integrity and morals and is like going to treat me like a queen, but also, can like put me in my place. I guess that's the most important thing for me because like I feel bad.
It's like a unicorn.
And then you find like the nice guy who's perfect is like, I want you to be the wife and here's this, I have this and this, and then but you're like a little bored because you're used to a little toxicity, which is bad.
So it has to be like a balance.
Yeah, you got to find that. That's why I say a bad boy with a good heart. I think
which is like really like you said, it's super hard to find.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it is.
Someone's kind of the best of both.
Where do you guys think the best place to meet people? I think Indiana's very hard because I will say I was down, like the Midwest is hard. I was in Florida, super easy. There's just places that are just easier to meet people. So I feel like where do you think is like the best? I mean, do you feel, I guess online everybody meets?
I feel like organically is always better. So like many times I've done the apps, like it's not only forced, but again, you have like, you can be whoever you want to be online. Right.
Yeah. That's so scary.
Even if as women you're being authentic, right? It's like then when you meet somebody, it's like you said they have like he was being honest, but like you have this whole list of like I don't know of what they're supposed to be. So you go in thinking one thing and then you meet them. Like that's why I don't do dating apps is because I had so many tragic experiences with them before.
A lot of crazy people.
like things like I had one guy that told me that he was an entrepreneur and worked for himself. And he brought his backpack to the dinner date. And it turns out he was homeless and he had been messaging me from the library computer.
No.
Seriously? Swear to God.
Your odds are good. But
your odds are good. We move in with you. Like, stat.
So he was an entrepreneur. He was, doing it at the library, working for himself and living in his car. And, I was so nice to him because he was really trying to get on his feet. He was very nice. It was this different level of like, okay, you brought in all of your things with you because this is, He's brushing his teeth in the restaurant bathroom. It's fine. Clark, you had an interesting experience on your date.
Oh, man.
I love how she's like, we'll just bring you in.
Clark, tell us briefly.
Oh, shit. I don't know why.
Just yell.
Like, after our first date, she went to rehab.
You sent a woman to rehab.
Maybe you were encouraging her to be better.
Well, our second date, she broke out of rehab.
To be with you.
To be with me.
That's kind of hot.
That's commitment.
It is.
Is she in rehab or is she out?
She's out.
Is she successful in her rehabilitation?
We're pro rehab.
Yes, we are.
I haven't talked to her lately.
Oh, that's a story, though. That's a story. You drive women wild, crazy, if you will.
Something like that.
Absolutely. Here's okay. I thank you for sharing that, Clark. Clark, give it to Clark. Give it to Clark. All right, so and then we'll close with this for do's and don'ts of first dates. This is interesting because when you do meet someone online, and okay, so dudes, this is the dudes. They're gonna fly you out, right? Okay.
I already know where you're going with this, which is why I'm smiling even harder.
Like this is the crazy thing to me. So when someone's flying you out, I feel like a gentleman should not assume, although I know there's tons of women that are like, woo, like they'll give it up on the first date, which do it, whatever. That's your prerogative. I feel like, is it too old school to ask someone, which I say absolutely not, though, to get you your own room? It's like, if you're flying me out to be with you, obviously we know what men want, but I'm telling these women, like, I guess there's just so many women that like, you've never met this person. You probably haven't talked to them even on the phone, and they're flying you somewhere and you're going to share a room with them. Like I just think it's awkward even like going to the bathroom when they're in the room, or you know what I mean? Doing your skincare routine at night. Like, I don't know. I just think it's so weird. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's not weird.
Yeah.
No.
It's not weird.
And then
it's not weird.
Yeah. I
think that it just tells you what they're interested in initially.
Yes.
I think you already have your answer.
Yeah. Do you guys have rules about, and did you back in the day, like when you were dating before you got married, like about sleeping with someone on the first date? Or do you have like a certain, because, women are like, 5 dates, and then sometimes it's like the chemistry's off the chart. Yeah. But then they never hear from a guy again.
I think so. It's not a rule. Like, the things happen naturally. Like, if you feel like, if it's the enough connection, it's not a rule for me. Like,
okay.
If you want to do it, just do it.
But do you feel like a guy, because women have the problem, they give it up way too early and then they never hear from the guy again.
I think
or they get the slow fade. They're, obviously it's like men love to chase, correct, men? I mean, I don't want to talk for men. But
one of my girlfriends, she's from Dominican Republic, and she's been in dating apps, and she's like a rule woman. She say, I want to give my first kids after 3 months, and my second, I say, honey, don't put time. If you feel like jumping in, just do it.
She's making them work.
I think you just have to be realistic with expectations, right? So like, if you set the rule and then there's some people, like you said, for 3 months, and some guys are like, hey, I'm not waiting around for that. You can't be upset with that. It's just not your person, right?
Yeah.
Or like you said, if the chemistry's there and you decide, hey, after like 2 dates, 3 dates, like we're all in, but then you also can't be upset if that person doesn't feel the same and is like, okay, well, that's what I was there for, and now I'm out, right?
Yeah.
So I think you just have to be realistic about like where you're at with it and where they are. But I would just say, like, whatever you're feeling.
For it. I'm telling
you,
like,
I think so. That depends.
But then don't be upset if you don't.
I feel like this depends also on the efforts.
Yeah.
Like what the guy do for you.
Yes.
Like in my case, he was doing stuff that my ex-husband never did in 22 years of marriage. So I say, okay, he got me.
Yeah.
It's like he was so special. So I feel like...
And you ended up marrying the guy. So obviously it worked out for him. Like, I love that.
Well, but you're going to have a different type of relationship if you wait.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel like girls are so like impressed with like a steak dinner, and they're just like, yeah, let's do. I mean, I feel, I don't know. I just don't think
you're
that's
right
impressive
on
these
that.
days.
Well, it's not, but I think that's where like some guys get upset too, right? To your point, where they're like, well, I have to plan something. It's like, well, if you're really interested in someone, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If it happens, it happens. I get that. But then, I mean, this is terrible. I just learned the phrase from dudes, pump and dump. And I think that is so
that term?
gross.
How do you not know that term?
I did. That guy, that's terrible.
Brothers, I don't know.
Like, I think that's awful.
That is a term that's been around
like, I feel
for a minute.
I feel like men.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like these days it's so sad to me. Like, romance is out the door, and men are just like, oh, I just want to pump and dump because they don't want to deal with drama and having to put in effort, and they're just so lazy now. Not all men. There's some gems, but it's like, it's just so, I don't know. It's so sad for me. I guess it's the quality of woman that you're looking for, but.
Yes, I would agree with that, because I think that like we all are like in an industry like where we have all different types of clients, right?
Yeah.
So we know that too. There's like all different types of girls out there as well as guys though too. And I have some clients that is like they don't mind that. Like that's what they're for too, which is weird, like you said, because like some of us are there for long-term relationships.
Yeah.
We want them to work a little bit harder, be true gentlemen. But I think like we're more rare than we realize sometimes.
That's exactly true. We are more rare than we realize.
Yeah. And so I think that's important to remember. Like you said, when we're not impressed by, you're not making plans.
That's right.
And then your behavior.
There's no pump and dump at this table.
None of that.
That might be the name of this episode. Okay. Thank you guys. I'm excited. First dates. Do you have any dates coming up?
I do. And with we'll just call him a hot gentleman, but he's a very good planner, which is really attractive.
I love that for you.
So yeah.
I might want to say I love that for us because then we hear all about the details.
Yes, you get all the details. But yeah, he's truly a super, super nice guy.
Yes.
Which is pretty rare to find.
Good.
So
I love that. And Carolina has her sexy Viking to go home to.
My sexy Viking
what did you call him? 6.3?
6.3. We like that.
How tall are you? 6.3?
Yeah, we like that everywhere. Yeah. All right, this has been another episode of Blonde After Dark. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time.